tell me the story of us.
Again? We are going to take over the world.
You'll be this awesome publishing mogul.
And you'll be this famous modern dancer.
Before we get into any deeper, can I ask you for a bit of a sense of the story of Frances Ha?
The story of Frances Ha is about a dancer, 27, name is Frances, and she lives in New York City. And when the movie starts, she's living with her best friend, and these things that she loves so much in her life of being a dancer and living with her best friend unravel, and she has to kind of reconstruct her life that she wasn't planning for, basically.
Okay. What was that really attracted you to the film?
It was a long process because Noah and I wrote it together, and then the filming took a long time, and then, I mean, I feel like I've been living with this movie for like 3 years, so I feel I feel a tremendous amount of authorship over it, and I also feel like a lot of anxiety towards it. It's like being a parent, like it feels like my child, and I want it to be okay, and I'm very grateful that it's in the world and people are responding well to it. But I mean, when we wrote the character, when we wrote the whole script, but when we found who Frances was, in some ways we didn't over-talk it because we felt like we kind of had a sense of who she was, but we didn't want to kill it by explaining it too much. And then as an actor, I felt like I found her in this kind of broad physical comedian kind of performance. And I don't know, I mean, I love, she's got a lot of swagger, which I really like. She's very confident, even though things aren't going well for her. And I love that she's a single woman by choice, that she could be with lots of people. She's not doing it. Yeah, she's not drowning in men, but she does, she has a boyfriend at the beginning who she kind of just dismisses, and then she doesn't look around and see the options that exist around her. That's not on that track, and I kind of love that. I don't think you don't see that in female characters a lot.
Hey, Abby, it's Frances again. Do you guys want to meet for dinner? I can meet you anywhere. I'll be the girl with acne holding more acne.
So Frances, she's very empowered in her life. You say she doesn't need a man, but she also is completely all over the place as far as career goes.
Yeah.
The dance thing isn't, halfway through the film toward the beginning, isn't really working out for her. Is that something you can relate to when you were crafting the character?
I mean, in some ways I've had myself in my 20s, I had a lot more luck than Frances did. I had a lot of really lucky breaks.
Pretty successful.
And yeah, I mean, I wasn't always monetarily successful at different points. I mean, but I had a lot of feedback from the world that I was on the right track, or at least there might be a place for me. I had an agent, things were going in a direction, and I think, so in that way I feel like, I really didn't have Frances's experience professionally. On the other side though, I think that if anyone who does anything that doesn't have a real set track and path, you always are very cognizant of how close you are to not doing it, or how easily it could have not happened for you. So I think that even though my story was different, the resonance of like, it could have just as easily gone this other way is really, I feel close to that. I feel close to the alternate reality where it was more like Frances and less like my story.
For my final question, I want to ask, what do you think audiences can expect when they go to see Frances Ha?
I think they can expect, I hope they feel like hope they feel lighter and more joyful and more hopeful when they leave the theater than when they came in. And I don't know, I hope that sounds trite, but I mean it in like deep joy kind of way. Like, life is all these things, but it's joyful above all else, even with everything. And I think that's what I hope people feel about it. But I don't know. I mean, I can't determine what they're gonna feel about it. Someone could
Be
watch it.
decisive and tell them how they should
I
feel
know.
about it.
I know. I feel like I know, but if someone goes in and then feels miserable afterwards, I mean, I can't tell them that their experience was wrong, but it is wrong. They shouldn't feel that way.
Sometimes it's good to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it.